hear these youngins by the slang that I bid first, and I can't even get no credit for it. That shit hurt. Yeah, we been nerds, not the type to use big words. Still down to throw you if you throwing the fist first. Fail face, but every now and then I don't get curved. Still end up broken hearted, that we get what we deserve. Freak show, they staring and don't ask for no pictures. Cause I'm a giant man like I'm Fishburne. Maybe cause I'm hotter than the grease with a fish burn. We're slacking that one, putting in that work like an intern. In turn, I probably won't gain lives. Like trading in your system, the game stop. Don't really rap about what I ain't got. Been me since back when I could fit in the tank top. You think I'm ever changing? I think not. Hit the taco truck and I can show you the flame spots. They only taking cash and now I'm making the bank stop. Think cock, don't say a word, just open that safe lock. Nah, I'm playing the ATM, broken the rain wide. Raindrops falling on my head. I hate cops, ain't talking to the feds. Zombie mode on a rocky road, walking like I'm dead. Need to pick me up, that I will eat the chocolate with the bread. Still trash, just now me in my pockets get fed. That's real rap, now I can pay for guac without a sweat. You feel that? Playlist full of Indian drill trap. Problems, I got 99 on me, I'm Lil Sap. But fucking never cried over spilled paps. Never crying over who spilled that. Young medicine man, and I'm looking to peel caps. Yeah. Put on the beat and I will snap. Put on the beat, I'ma kill that.
Ryne Radio is brought to you in part by Cerna Cigars. If you want to burn like a star, smoke a Cerna cigar. Premium hand-rolled blunts with the glass tips, and it should be powered by Fresh Coast Cannabis. Follow both Cerna Cigars and Fresh Coast Cannabis on Instagram today and let them know that Ryne Radio sent you. We are also brought to you by Adopt My Block. Follow Adopt My Block on Instagram, but also support them on their Patreon or add them into your cart on Amazon Smile. Remember, adopt, don't shop with Adopt My Block. If you would like to listen to some underground music from the Northern California area and beyond, check out TinoKilledIt.com or TinoKilledIt.live. And if you're trying to have your music spun on Tino's radio station, call 915-233-2120 or support them on Patreon today. If you're in Santa Cruz, stop by the Rush Inn at 113 Ninth Street in between Water and Pacific. Come play with us forever and ever, or until the government shuts us down again at the Rush Inn.
Welcome to episode 77. Falling sperm count threatens human survival. First of all, you're an expert in counting sperm. I make several claps for you. That's very impressive. The median sperm count is now set to reach 0 by 2045. That doesn't seem possible. Why do I say that? As an absolute novice sperm counter? Wait, 2045. Oh, I probably won't need all that. I won't need my sperm by then, I don't think. Okay, sorry, would you like to increase your sperm count? Actually, no, I'm enjoying this slow decline. Go ahead, Mother Nature. Take my sperm. Pause, B. Hey, yo, pause. Nah, B, it was Mother Nature, though. The people of the internet have spoken. Yeah, old people. And then you're like, we didn't vote for Ariana Grande. We're like, yeah, well, now how you know how it feels, huh? Yeah, Yeah, if voting was on the internet, you'd be fucked. We'd all be at a rave right now. Yeah.
Yeah. Ryne Radio, episode 120. Let me make sure this is working right. All right. We good. I'm always nervous about that now. You know what I'm saying? You know, the audio messed up on that day. I have PTSD from the audio now. I have PTSD from that audio interview now. That's going to shake me every time I do an interview now. It's fucked up. But That's how you learn. You got to live and learn. We're making sure you guys can hear me pretty well right now, all across the fucking worlds. We got fucking Christopher Shipton in the house. We got Tino up in the motherfucker. Zan Aykroyd, fuck off. Pixie, New Swammy. Hi, Ali. Everybody up in the building tonight. We got a special, or today. I'm just used to doing this at a nighttime, but we got a very special fucking episode today because Irish Rasta is on the fucking show tonight. He's over in fucking, obviously the UK. So major time difference. So I shout out to the boy because we were able to arrange a Saturday episode and just stream in the middle of the day so we can be able to fucking interview him properly. So what I'm going to do now is unmute my mic. He should be able to hear me now.
Yo, yo.
Yes, sir. And then I'm going to pop him on and there we go.
Yo, yo. How's it going?
How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. How's life treating you? And how's all the fans doing?
Yeah,
Shout out to everybody.
We got a good fucking pile of folks already in the chat. I think just the whole midday on a Saturday, it's easy to fucking catch some folks right now. And especially there's some East Coast folks tuning in right now too, to where they're like, oh shit. Like the boy Christopher Shipton's been able to tune in because he usually doesn't catch these live. But yeah,
it's a good time.
Right? And folks are surprised that you're a dreadless Rasta, but that's how we already know that some of y'all ain't fucking run like Keegan. I'm going to call you out by name, Keegan. You should be watching the fucking interviews, the ads on the beginning half of this, or because you would know that the boy fucking been doing your own show. You've been doing that for like about a year now, right? Or a year, 2 years?
Yeah, so I started pretty much just before the pandemic started. So it was like February, I think. So it's been about, just over a year now. I should have actually checked that. Like, it's been such a weird year. Like in my head, it's been like 3 months, but it's been a whole year.
No,
but yeah, it's weird. And the thing about the Rasta thing, I never called myself a Rasta. That was Dan, like way back in the day. So I just fully just ran with that. But
that's amazing.
I never ever rocked Rasta shit.
That's amazing.
I just had dreads.
That's amazing. Of course, that is some Dan shit too. Like you just had some dreads, sent a question, and then he probably just like him and Caustic probably just riffed off of beat like, what is this? You fucking Irish and you got dread? What is this? An Irish Rasta? And that's exactly. Amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's it. So then from like the next episode, I just like sent in a question like, yo, it's the Irish Rasta. How's it going? And it just became a thing. So like, and then when I cut the dreads off, I was like, well, you know what? Like, it's already so established. Like, fuck it, I'm just gonna rock with it. So
did that like were you able to like because you go to battle events out your way, I'm imagining. Like, did that start becoming a thing that like would follow you too? Like, did other people be like, oh, it's the Irish Rasta?
Yeah, every so often, but it was very, very rare. Like it wasn't because you had to be. It's like that's like a niche of a niche, or you had to be like a battle rap fan, but then also a fan of the Dirtbag Dad show, and a big enough fan of the show that you would watch it regularly enough to like know video questions. It's such a I was a niche of a niche of a niche. It's like meta. So.
No, it was like
that was like surreal
for sure. No, it was like you. Fucking Dom Fisher, aka Young Custodian, and fucking J Squared, aka Young Duck, and then I mean there was a couple other ones, but like you guys were like the most notable. Like it got to the point where it was a part of the show very much. Like it was just like I would almost be disappointed if there wasn't a fucking Irish Rasta question. I'd be like, what, why? There's not an Irish Rasta question in this episode.
It became like a regular show to the point where you had like segments where you'd be like, oh, what? Oh, you missed out on your favorite bit. Like that was what I remember that back in the day, like when you would have like the like 5 battles of the week and like actually like when they were really trying to do segments. I used to love that. So yeah, it was a great. And then the fact that people could come in and interact and create segments of their own, like that was the real inspiration for me doing a show. Was just the fact that when that show ended, it was really like a realization. I was like, oh, this is crazy. I like created this, or like I had this met this community of people that some of them actually became real life friends, and some of them are just people that, like Young Duck is like, I feel like Young Duck is someone I know.
Yeah.
Young Duck is just this entity that existed on the Dirtbag Dan show.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like this crazy like new version of community that I love, that you can have people, because there's no one in my life like I have one friend who likes battle rap in my day-to-day life, and other than that, no one has any idea what any of this is. So for me to have like a group of people that like let you know that you're not insane for just like sitting in your room fucking like losing your mind to a Carter Deems battle, like it's very life affirming. So I always really appreciated that about the show.
Oh
And
yeah.
yeah, I missed that when it left. So it's nice to
Yeah.
have something similar.
Yeah, I think it really did attract a lot of us that were in a similar position as far as like not really because it was one of the first battle rap shows I was trying to cover it, but it was like they were like focused but unfocused. So because of that, kind of actually it like perfectly encapsulated the fucking battle rap culture in a way. Cause it was just like
Yeah.
fucking, all right, sometimes we're gonna like be on point, and then other times we're just gonna fucking sit here and just shoot the shit. Like
Yeah, like we choked the show.
right, to where
Yeah.
it's kind of crazy that like it did kind of bring so many people together to where like I can relate to that in terms of like when I first started watching battle rap, no one really around me watched it. Like a friend of mine did introduce me to it, but he didn't watch it like as a fan of being a battle rap fan. He liked it for like a whole different other reason, because he's like an English teacher, and it was the Mark Griss versus Blizzard battle, because that like
Yeah.
went viral around the time, and he was like, you know, someone that was like searching the Reddit boards and whatnot. So he saw that and like showed me it, just because like we were watching like a bunch of YouTube videos, and I was like, yo, what's this? Like, because I grew up like, I liked 8 Mile
Yeah.
when it first came out and all that shit, to where I was just like, oh, whoa, this is like a premeditated thing and all this and that. So at what point, like, like did you start going to events after the fact that like you were like sending in the questions of the show, or did you start going to some events and then?
No, so when I started sending in questions to the show, I had just left home. So I dropped out of school and moved from Ireland to the UK when I was 17. So I think I was sending in questions to the show. Like maybe the first question was when I was like just about to turn 18 and I was still 17.
Yeah.
So like at that stage, I had never been somewhere where they had events. Like I lived in I grew up in a town with 500 people. So there was like no and even to this day, like I think that they had Thesaurus out to an event in Dublin a while back. And like there's some battle rap, but in Ireland, it's not nearly as big as it was in the UK. And then even in the UK, when I moved over to Bristol, and there was one event, I think in the 5 or 6 years that I was living there. So we used to travel to events in London, but that was much later. Like I was fully just watching battle rap in my room, like on my laptop, and just like going crazy. Cause for me, it was like next level rap. Like, cause I have always loved rap, but also what I've always been attracted to is the lyrics in particular. So for me, it was just like they had been just like unchained from like, there's none of this like 5 minutes or stick to the beat or here's your chorus. It was just like, oh, they could do anything. And it's like the freest speech ever, as far as I'm concerned. Like it's the place where even like PC culture has like barely made a dent, I feel. So I just was so attracted to just like where you could take the lyrics and what you could say and the ideas that you could come up with. It's always just been like something that I've just been completely obsessed with. So when they started doing the show, I was just like instantly, as soon as they said like, oh, you want to send in some questions, I was like, fuck yes. So it's like, I got to think of something to come up with to say for that. And then it was much like probably a year or two after that I went to events, I think. And still, there were not that many events in the UK because Don't Flop always had like a bit of a shaky track record, And even when you went to events, they were good, but like I don't know. To me, the ratio of watching battles to standing around has always been like a real trade-off. Where I'm like, it's okay, and it'd be another thing. You have to travel to London, so it's like I don't know if it's like if you had to you had to travel down to LA and then you got to stand I mean, it's probably a similar situation over there sometimes,
Yeah.
but
Oh, most of the time.
Don't Flop was particularly bad for sitting around and doing nothing for like an hour or two.
Oh no, I promise you that is battle rap. I've been to events from backyards to town business. I was at Back to Basics 3. Like there is always wait around time. Although I will say Back to Basics 3 is probably the only event I've been to where that motherfucker started at the exact time they said it was going to, and it stopped at the exact time that they said it was going to. Everything happened as it needed to, and then we all got out of there. Like never before or since have I ever seen such a thing. And then on top of that, every single battle was like the most like classic fucking shit. Like every one of those have been like regarded as like Hall of Fame worthy fucking battles by this point, to where it's just like, holy shit, man. Yeah, but no, yeah, more often than not, it's a lot of waiting around because battlers either don't show up on time, or they're like around the corner fucking practicing their shit, or they don't like where they're gonna go on the card, so they're gonna like try to show up later to like be the last battle, and it's just like, nah, man, that's not how that works. But yeah, shit happens all the time. We've been kind of remedying that a little bit with like these title tournament battles because they're only 1-rounders. So you watch like 6 to 8 1-rounders, just fucking, we just bang them out back to back. And then, this last one, we had 8 battles, which was like the final one was like a 3-round battle, and it was a main event, and the rest were just 1-rounders. So we just 4 1-rounders, pause for 30 minutes, and then did the last 4 battles. And because I'm on the same level as you, I'm like, I don't like, the crowd has a finite time of like how they want to ingest this shit. Like no one wants to fucking just sit around all day, and at a certain point, like at a battle event, you're just getting stoned and drinking and fucking eating food. So it's like you can only do so much of that until you want to go to bed.
8 hours on your feet too. It's like, it'd be another thing if it was like a seated event where you're just like all kicking back in hammocks, smoking weed and shit. But you're like all just like standing around, and you gotta like fight for your position as well. Where you're like, I'm posted up in the front. I can't go anywhere right now. I'm waiting for this motherfucking Charlie Clips battle. I'm right here. So to me, it was I was never gonna go all the way to London for like random tryout battles or whatever. But I went out for some checkpoint battles. I saw Shoddy Horror a couple times, Saul versus C Major, Charlie Clips. Oh, was it Charlie Clips versus Shoddy Horror? I think I was there for, which was like a bit of a shit show. But yeah, it was always fun. But I think obviously with the pandemic, it's all gone. But I think even before that, it was all kind of starting to fall apart.
Yeah.
Like I don't know when the last event that threw was.
Yeah, but like
it's sad. Like,
but Premier Battles is starting to kick off their kind of thing, right? Like Shoddy is, and what is it? Shoddy and Briggs and kind of like his crew.
Yeah, so I moved back to the UK like during the pandemic, so obviously nothing has really been popping off. But hopefully, when things get going, because there's such a like a passion for it here, and there's like a lot of people, even if it's a small fan base, like that are super passionate about it.
Yeah.
So it's always been such a shame, and like they could fucking just take my money. Like they don't even have to do good events; they just need to like facilitate for these talented people to show up. So, and yeah, that's always like really bothered me how the UK scene kind of, not even that it fell apart, but it just like never really like fully like took off and stayed taking off. It's always been kind of like stop start and kind of all over the place. Yeah. I guess that's just like the nature of battle rap in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I mean that's very much the nature of anything that's like an independent culture, because this thrives off of just all of our collective willpower, really. This only really works because of how passionate we all are, as like, because even the best battlers are still some of the biggest fans of this as well. Like, and there's so many unsung heroes throughout all of this whole fucking culture that keep this shit alive, to where even if you guys like the thing is, it's like, okay, like you guys might be in a dip, but it's like, then there's stuff that you can still access on the internet that's still happening, to where it's just like, man, fuck. Let's get the fucking band back together, guys. Let's fucking go, like, let's go fucking, let's grab a camera. Let's go do an event again, to where it's just like, I mean, that's kind of what we've been doing in many ways too, because we kind of really shit the bed last year. Like we were like about to die before the fucking pandemic, like just because of everything, like a lot of different circumstances. But then like the pandemic really didn't help us. But then we were able to pivot to where we were kind of able to like do things to where no one else could. Like to where I was like, well, fuck, man, this is too good of an opportunity to blow. To where I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna fucking breathe some new life into this shit. So I'm sure fucking once shit opens up back over there, it'll be a different situation because you guys are a little bit more strict over there in terms of like actually being locked down, right?
Yeah, for sure. It's always hard to keep up with. Like, I don't know what the strictness is in America because it's like one thing in Idaho and a different thing in Florida. But yeah, here it's definitely like pretty strict. Like people are getting fines for being like having house parties or whatever like that, or gatherings even.
Yeah, that
people
type
calling
of stuff.
neighbors and shit.
And I'm
Yeah,
sure.
for sure. And then go on.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sure like there's like some of that happening over here in pockets, but like we've been doing a lot of shit over here to where it's just like I don't really know what. I think a lot of it's like in terms of like how much fucking money can a motherfucker get if they bust you right now or some shit like that. To where I don't know. We've been doing a lot of shit to where I don't know. It's been weird, but I've been like reading things about like kind of over your way in terms of like the fines and like actually like travel restrictions means like no, you cannot fucking travel. Where over here it's like you probably shouldn't travel.
Yeah, it's guidelines.
You know,
yeah, it was like that at one point, and now it's like they've definitely amped it up a bit. I mean, it's like fully like I don't even bother getting into it anymore. Like I'm at this point where I'm like, okay, seems like we're on the up, and as long as we keep going up, and eventually it all just like ends like around summertime. I'm just chill. And if shit gets any weirder, I'm ready for revolution. So I'm on the fence. I'm staying chill. I'm just waiting to see how it plays out.
But yeah, no, as long as we like, there is a light with the vaccines and when things open up, you know, and then of course battle rap will fucking return, fucking, because it's like even then, like I've seen Shotty's been trying to still do things, like even when there was like the restrictions were like loosening for a second, he's like, all right, we're doing a thing, and then it was like shit locked down again. He's like, all right, we're not doing a thing. You know?
Yeah, that's what it's like for everyone. Well, what I think is that there's going to be a lot of pent up energy. Like I feel it for myself. Like I'm ready to do fucking anything, dude. I'll go to the soil museum. I go to the ballet. I go to a techno night. I'll do anything. I don't give a fuck. So I'm sure that there's a bunch of battle rappers out there that have just been sitting around writing bars. I'm sure people have got their best COVID bars. They all want to spit. So I'm sure there's going to be some shit going down, hopefully. So, I have faith.
Absolutely. But I've been enjoying your fucking show, though, sir. You know, like at least there's like the silver lining through this is like you know, like most folks can just get bored and just like sit on their ass and you know dick around to where you're like, all right, let's make some shit to where like, and I like it because you know I do this on my own end and if it wasn't for the live aspect of this component or the live component of this, I don't know how I want to say this, but if it wasn't for this being a live show, I would not really do a lot of this because I tried doing like a pre-recorded show and doing the editing and all of that sort of thing. And that takes such a like a finesse and a fine, like a love for the details. Like what like made you want to like take that direction with it to like kind of go in like a show direction rather than just be like kind of a podcast kind of direction?
Yeah, so I mean, I would say that it started off that I definitely wanted to be just like a podcast because like at its core, it starts off as just like it is recorded almost like it's live in a sense, like because I do my best to have like no edits for the main show. So like 90% of them have no cuts all the way through. Because it's like it's only if something fucks up, like if the delivery man comes like in the middle of the show and I gotta like run out, I'll like cut out a minute of it. But then it was for like uploading it onto Instagram, like cutting down like little little previews and stuff. that was what got me into the editing. And it was really just like, I'm so stubborn and cheap that just like this, I get this from my mom, or I just like anything, any chance I could get. And also there's three things, like I'm stubborn, I'm cheap, and also I really like to know how things work. So like back in the day, I used to just like make my life so difficult by just refusing to pay for anything and trying to fix everything myself and like always buying the cheap shit. But nowadays, like I'm willing to put money out where it makes sense. But I also just like fully love an opportunity to learn a new skill and like understand how you get something made, like how, like I taught myself to code. Really, that just like started off when I was like, you know, you hear these things that you're like, oh, I always knew that was true, but I never really thought about it, where it was like computers only know 1 and 0, and from that they can do all the shit. And I was like, oh my god, yeah, I knew that, but then wait, how does that actually fucking work? So I
Yeah.
just like started watching some YouTube videos, and then like just started doing some coding tutorials, and like that's fully just like how I'm the sort of person who's like, oh, I want a website. I'm like, fuck playing. I'm not gonna pay Squarespace $10 a month. What the fuck? I was like, I'll just teach myself how to code and build a website, which like realistically for most people is such a bad investment of your time, but it's just like how I roll. So fully, I was just like, oh, I need a logo. Let me just teach myself graphic design. So I just like always wait till Udemy has a sale, and then I just go buy like a course on GIMP or like whatever Photoshop for $6 or some shit, and then I just teach myself some little bit of graphic design, and then it was the same for the video editing. So for me, it's like a combination of hobbies that I can like apply to my day to day life. Like that's
Hell
the shit
yeah.
that just gets me like super excited. So that was fully the motivation. It's just like I'm mad cheap and also like mad curious. So it just worked out really well.
That's great, man. Because like I appreciate that you take that extra like love for this shit. Because I intake like a lot of different fucking shows when I'm at my regular job. Because I'm a fucking delivery driver. So I'm on my truck like 10 hours a day. So I just go through a shit ton of different fucking podcasts and shows and all that. To where I love that you had that component to where, okay, this is my regular show, and then when you're like making the clips for like the Instagram or the YouTube and shit like that, there's that extra level of like, it's kind of a show within a show aspect to it. Cause like I love running your little ad spots in front of my shit, especially like the current one that I have right now, where it's like like, okay, first of all, you're an expert in counting sperm. I multi-clap for that, and like it like zooms in like on the clap, like shit, little shit like that, like just makes me like fucking giggle like that much more. Like it's just like fun and fucking silly. So um yeah, man,
It's
I
funny.
appreciate
That
that.
stuff originally comes from the Moist Mob, like because it was those CP shorts that, because I just remember watching, like I had always seen them and loved them, but then when I was on the show, and they had the Holocaust is flat, which is really sad. I think that's like banned in a lot of countries for some reason, probably because it has Holocaust in the title. But that video, like I have a copy of it. If anybody wants it, I can send it to them.
The
But
Holocaust is what?
I just love that like you can take what was just like a regular podcast and you can essentially like make a music video just by just changing the angle and chopping out. And then I've been watching a lot of reality TV as well, and like realizing I'm like, oh my god, it's like you can completely change the narrative of what's going on just by like where you focus the camera, just which bits you leave in, which bits you take out. Like you can literally make people say the complete opposite of what they said just by cutting half of their sentence out. So it's been like it's just like a really amazing how you get a lot of bang for your buck with video editing. I feel like, because it's like actually I know very little. I know just really basic shit and really basic tools, but just like you just kind of get to put your own personality in and use these basic little like, oh, just a zoom here, a cut here, chop that sentence out, put that bit in front of that bit instead of that bit. And it's like, yeah, I just love the it's like very efficient. I love shit like that. Like I love
Yeah,
coding where it's like, oh, you can spend a couple weeks building something that millions of people can use for years. Like I love how efficient that is. And the same with video editing, that you can make like this little 60-second clip that can be viewed by 10 million people 50,000 times. Or it's just like I get off on how fucking how simple things are these days to have
for
like a big
sure.
impact with stuff. It's amazing.
For sure. No, and I like and just like how I like how, like I said, I give props to you because you're somebody that was just like, all right, you know what, fuck it, I get entertainment out of these little things like this. I'm just gonna go teach myself how to fucking do it, and I'm gonna just make my own fucking shit then, because that's very much like I feel you in terms of like being stubborn and cheap. Like that's how I like chase everything that I'm doing now. Like it's by the same token, because like like the Moist Mob had to step away from filming the battles, and then Dan like eventually told me like I'm stepping away from the show. So I'm like, well, fuck, man, like I guess I gotta like teach myself how to do all of this shit then, like, because
Yeah.
But in like the byproduct is I know how to do this shit to where it's like then I can like apply that and
Yeah.
keep stacking upon that going forward, and I'm having fucking a great time because it's like I don't know. It's like a weird, the more I step into this world of like creating and like really chasing like, what what is like my own voice and like how to push that kind of forward. The more I'm like just kind of feeling like like more. It's like this is where you're meant to be, kind of a thing. Like you ever like kind of I don't know, like kind of get a sense of like kind of that like when you're like creating all these things, like man, I should have been doing this.
Yes, absolutely. And I think it's one of those things for me that, like, you're never going to learn anything from doing one episode. Like, I see how much you love that you've gone past episode 100. Because, like, I feel like that's always been something that's been passed through the counterproductive family. Like, it's not about episode one, about 100.
Yeah,
So,
man.
I feel like it's one of those, like, with anything, it's not just about creating, but like a lot of the time, I think this is not always true, but a lot of the time, I think the things that people are most proud of, they happen to take a long time or need like a lot of investment. And like the nature of that means like if you start that today, like it'll pay off more than if you started it tomorrow. So I think I get a kick out of the fact that like whenever I catch myself doing something, because I'm like, oh shit, yeah, I'm glad I didn't put this off. Because it's always the worst feeling, like I don't know, like the classic example is like, God, I wish I started saving when I was like a teenager. Because it's like the worst when you wake up in the middle of your 20s and you're like, oh, yeah, fuck, a house or some shit. Like, that'd be cool. So it's like, those things like that where you're like, whatever it is, saving, teaching yourself skills, like shit that compounds over time. Like whether it's being like a creative, like doing a podcast, like episode 400 is going to be so much more valuable than episode 4. So I just feel I love when I find myself doing things that like I know are going to compound and pay off in the long run. Because I feel like, it's cool to take time off and do holidays and fuck off and do shit. Like, I feel like it's good to have a balance, but that shit doesn't like compound and like, it doesn't get, the more holidays you take, it doesn't like enrich the holidays you take before. Like the more weed you smoke, it doesn't like make the weed you smoke before that weed better. Like actually, the less weed you smoke, the more weed, like the more potent that weed is when you hit it. So I feel like there's certain things that like, I love smoking weed, but also I don't think like I don't aspire to be always smoking weed. Whereas like I do always aspire to be doing things like saving or teaching myself new skills or like, bettering myself as a person or whatever. Cause I know that shit is going to like stack and stack and stack and over time really going to pay off. So I love it. And especially with the internet, it just makes it so ridiculously easy to learn shit that like if you're that way motivated, like you don't have to go to like video editing school or like university or like you don't need, I haven't talked to a single person. Like I taught myself coding, video editing, and graphic design all through the internet, and I've never like met a teacher or anything for that shit. So I just feel like the time is so right for this kind of shit.
Absolutely, man. I fuck with that so much because that's like where that's exactly how I'm very much all the same ways. And it's like, I just fucking be like, all right, hey, I've seen this in a movie once. I kind of want to do that within my shit or whatever. And then like the same thing, like, okay, Google, YouTube, like it's so easy to teach yourself shit like now. And it's like, it's not even just, if you want to like do a podcast or do any kind of show, like anything right now, you can like just kind of like really teach yourself the first basic fundamentals of it through the internet. And then it's as corny as it is, it's very true. The first step is the hardest step, to where as long as you just like take that step, in going in whatever direction you want to go, like understanding like you're gonna learn some shit the hard way sometimes. But as long as you just like keep fucking pursuing it, like how you're saying, the compound. I think that's gonna be like my fucking personal word of the day is like, will it like does it compound? Like, it like will
Yeah,
putting your time to this like fucking benefit and like stack up and like evolve over time. Or is it just like how you were saying? It's like, yeah, you could take time off and it's great. And you do need to, because you do need that balance. But at a certain point, it's like, you know, yeah, you could take like 3 months off, and by the time you're at the end of that 3 months, you're like, fuck, dude, I need to do anything right now. God damn, like,
yeah, exactly.
it's like, yeah, that's beautiful, man. I can fuck with that tremendously. So is there like a certain are you still very much in like kind of figuring out what you're like kind of wanting to do phase with it, or do you have a certain direction you want to go in with the show?
Yeah, I just wanted to be like I kind of started off when I started it off. Like the initial motivation was to do that kind of like building that kind of community online aspect. Because to me, I have no interest in anything other than doing exactly what I want and having people who fuck with it come hang out. So like there's no like I have never any interest in like jumping on any trends or like going viral or any actually
Yeah.
it's like and it sounds so stupid as someone who posts videos online, but like the idea of being famous or even popular like kind of makes me feel sick. So I fully just kind of love the idea of having a bunch of other people that are like nerds into the same kind of shit that I like, or even if they're not, they just like half of the time when I'm watching podcasts, what I love is just like seeing passionate people. And it's not that I don't half the time I don't give a fuck about what they do, but
Right.
it's just nice to see people who care about life. And it's like, oh yes, this even if you're not right there, you're like, oh, there's hope. I can see that there are things that people find like, and they're so diverse that you're just like, oh, I could just like keep flipping stones. So that was a huge thing for me that always gave me like a lot of hope, and it was very uplifting in podcasts was always seeing so many people that were inspired and thrilled to be living their life, and they were like doing what I would consider to be like completely inane random shit. And I was like, dude, that's like they're talking about it like it's the meaning of life. I was like, this is so reassuring, because I always thought you had to be like some fucking like nuclear scientist or like fucking Elon Musk type shit, and it's like, nah, dude, there's you can be happy and thrive on so many different levels. So for me, the podcast, that's why the podcast, like I'm always looking at good news. It's always like celebrating like living life in a good way and enjoying things, because that's what I have no interest in logging onto a podcast or like, to me, right, the news is like a negative podcast. Like I hate
Yeah.
the fucking
Oh
news.
my God. That's an amazing. I'm stealing that from you forever. The news is a negative podcast. Holy fuck.
It's like anti-podcasting, because it's the total opposite in the sense that it's like completely controlled, and usually it's sponsored by like not as like something as harmless as Dollar Shave Club. It's usually like some rich person owns it or some shit, and they're friends with some politician or some weird shit. So to me, it's like I watch the news like I watch it like a total fucking joke. Like a joke also like makes me one part angry and then one part like this is absolute comedy. So I'm just like trying to be basically like the opposite of the news, like not give you any facts, like just give you like kind of like interesting positive outlooks and perspectives on life, and like just be a good time in life, because you'll get the negative shit. Like it's not like you don't
Yeah.
bump into, you have to deal with problems already. You don't need someone like calling you up every day and like telling you all the shit stuff that happened in the world today. So I'm just, for me it's fully just like about being a positive fun place, and also like a vehicle for just like learning things and skills, like upskilling and just like being a better talker. Like I listened to my original podcast, the amount of it's fucking painful. So, or just being able to talk more without cursing, like all of these things, like even if my podcast goes to episode 500 and I still have 59 followers, like to me, the whole way along, the quality will get better. I'll upskill. I'll learn more things. So
Right.
it's a lot of things, but none of them are involved in being like in any way successful. Because to me, it's already like a big success in terms of what I set out to do. Just
Hell
having like a
yes.
couple of my friends reach out and be like, "Yo, that's hilarious," or "This like made me smile so much." I'm like, "Perfect, I win.
I win.
It's
I
over."
did my job. I did my job. No,
Yeah,
that's amazing,
exactly.
man. That's amazing.
I'm just
And
having
it's
fun.
so funny that you mentioned just the skill of being able to communicate better. I relate in many ways with that. And it's hilarious because I was telling my girlfriend this. I was like, I don't even want to swear anymore when I speak because I do it so much that it takes away the oomph from when I do it. I'm like, I don't even want to
Yeah,
do it for the professional look of it. I want to do it so when I actually use a fuck, it actually really means something. And I was
yeah,
fucking cracking her up
absolutely.
with that. So it's like, it's hilarious that you were kind of mentioning that, but it was more so about just from a more professional aspect to where I can understand that though, because it is hard to accumulate your thoughts and present them forward without having those mental stutters like right there, or even, like I swear definitely as a mental stutter. Instead of doing like the or the ah, I'd be like, oh yeah, fucking this and
Oh yeah, totally.
fucking and it's even funny because as I'm saying that, I remember there was a famous moment where I was talking to my buddies in high school and we're walking from like one class to another and I couldn't gather my thoughts. So I was all, oh yeah, but fucking. And the moment I said that, some other passing group of fucking dudes were crossing, and then this one guy goes, butt fucking. Y'all talking about butt fucking over there. And he's like this like giant 6 foot fucking six like fucking black dude with long ass dreads and like kind of country twang to his shit too. So he's just and he was like a senior, I'm like a freshman. I was just like, no man, I'm like connecting my thoughts. He's like, y'all talking about butt fucking over there. I'll never forget that in my life. It was so embarrassing. I was like, no, man.
Oh, that's
And I
so
was just like,
great.
how did you even catch on to that part of the conversation? Like, it was literally when I'm trying to connect my next sentence. And now this man thinks that
That's
we're
like
over
the
here.
pause shit. Oh my god, that's amazing. Yeah, totally. I feel like it's like upskilling again. It's just like we were just like, oh, I wonder if I could do this. Like if I could just like speak like multiple sentences without cursing. It's just like
Right.
almost like a personal challenge as well. And I feel like because you can always go back to it. It's easy to just curse whenever you want. But the challenging thing is to like moderate yourself and say certain things. So it's and plus I have a godson and I have friends who have got kids now, so it's like a useful skill to be able to not just like say fucking fuck this and shit that all the time. So it'll serve me well in lockdown. Like once we reemerge into society, I won't sound like I've been living under a rock for
Yeah.
a year.
You're going to go out to those pubs and make all those fucking Irish girls swoon, man. Um, because they're like, wow, he sounds so well spoken, and he's just so he just gathers all of his thoughts. He doesn't just swear all the time. He doesn't sound like just some fucking caveman. No.
Yeah, I don't know. You got to be careful with that. You don't want to sound too up. I don't want to, I don't want to move up a class or anything.
Fair enough. Fair
I'm trying
enough.
to stay with the street people. You want
Oh,
to know how to
okay.
drop the curses when you need to as well, especially like to avoid get you mugged or beaten up or when you're
That's
at a battle
that's
rap event. There's
that's
always
fair.
time and a place.
That's fair. You still gotta let folks know you're still with the working class once in a while. Fucking
Exactly. That I'm down with the proletariat.
hell yeah, man. Nah, man, I very much fucking appreciate you coming through. I know there's a crazy time difference. So yeah, man, salute to you for carving out the fucking time. Is there anything you really want to make sure the folks know before we kind of close this down?
Uh, I mean, hey, if they want to check out the show, I mean, I'm sure it's easy to find it. Irish Rasta Show. You can go to irishrasta.com. There's all the links there, or you can just search on all the places for it. But I don't know. I just hope everyone, if anyone is watching from the Dirtbag Dan Show, like shout outs to you for being a part of that community. Because again, it's such a weird thing. Like when I try to explain to people why I do this podcast, I'm like, so there's this thing called 8 Mile. It's pretty much that's how it almost always starts. Because I'll be like, all right, you remember 8 Mile, okay? So 8 Mile, yeah, but then it was like better than 8 Mile because they don't freestyle. And then there's this guy called Dirtbag Dan who does it right, and then he had a podcast, and then I sent some video. So it's always this weird thing. So whenever I see people who like are actually know that community, I just got like big love for them. So just big love for them, and shout outs to everyone, and shout outs to you, man. I appreciate you for taking the time. And yeah, I know it's not exactly like the best time to be doing a podcast, so I appreciate you sorting that out.
Yeah, I wanted to fucking make sure we got one in because I've been a big fan of the fucking Dirtbag Dance Show for a long ass time. I was one of those niche fans. I was like, oh yeah, I know Irish Rasta, I know fucking Young Custodian, I knew all the fucking voice questions, and even that's like was my introduction to the show. Was I knew I was gonna battle for Dan, so I was like, I'm gonna send a question in to kind of like promo myself also at the same time, which I kind of did, but then I still had a question, which was like the question was bullshit though. It's just more about like, and it worked. They're like, because he was like, oh yeah, hey, we got a video question from this guy named Ryne. He's actually going to be battling for us on this next card. And then like Skylar was like, oh yeah, that's pretty smart. He fucking got on. I was like, yeah, fucking salute. But yeah, that's kind of
recognized.
I fucking
recognized game.
Yeah. So I got on my way pretty much through the battle world by a video question just because I was a fan of the Dirtbag Dan Show for so long. Yeah,
getting put on through video questions.
That's how it fucking be. Before we even head out though, because we do got a good amount of folks in here to the point where I might consider doing fucking podcasts in the middle of the day. Is there anybody that got any questions for the Irish Rasta before we fucking let them on out of here? Because I don't want to cut this fucking too short. We got a lot of folks up in here too right now. So fucking Kyle, what's up, sir? Fucking Avo was up in this motherfucker. Said salute to two legends. We got Blues up in here. Fuck off. Aries is up in here. That's right. I don't know why I just said Aries.
Hey,
it's all Aries.
Shout out to Aries.
Fucking Edmund is Edmund. I don't want to say the Stan anymore. It's just habit. Fucking Keegan, Allie, Pixie, Chris Shipton. We got a bunch of fucking folks out here. Aries wants to know, just do you ever have a plan on coming fucking back out to America at any time?
Oh my God, I got a plan on going fucking everywhere as soon as I can.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely. I gotta say it, I'll go to the Soil Museum. Fuck, I have to go to Boise. I go to fucking anywhere, dude. I don't care. So like, I'm hoping that things are gonna start like coming back to normal, and as soon as they are, I'm doing a world tour. Fully just like taking 6 months off and just going all the shit. Because like me, like people know me from that weird like stint where I was like I went to like whatever 20 countries because I just had like fully checked out of work and took my savings and just went traveling. But like that's a big part of my life is like going around and seeing the world. So this has been a very weird year for me, like not going anywhere. So
yeah,
hopefully when things open up.
Yeah, that's true, sure. Man. Because every time you would send in a question, it was very much like, "Oh yeah, I'm just here at Machu Picchu. Anyway, the source versus this person. What's up?" Like what? Jesus Christ. Yeah, that's fucking amazing. But man, the Irish Rasta World Tour though, I insist that you make like when that does happen, I insist like some kind of infographic that's just like, oh yeah, Irish Rasta World Tour, fucking 2023 or 2022 or whatever.
Oh well, I would love to like go and shoot a series of podcasts like around the world.
That would be amazing. Like, fucking amazing.
Yeah, it's just so hard to make any plans right now because it's all just like, even if like I know what it's going to be like here, I'm like, I don't know what it's going to be like leaving, and then what it's like leaving, what is it like coming back? So, because like right now, I could go to America right now.
Yes.
But at the same time, it's like, could I get back into the UK without like paying £2,000 or some shit for like some, hotel fines or some shit? So at the moment, it's all up in the air, but like fully the love for going places and seeing people and doing shit has never left. And I would absolutely love to come back out.
Yeah.
And again, like the United States is so big. I feel like people ask me if I've been and I'm like, yeah, kind of. And they're like, how many times have you been? I'm like, I don't know, like 9 times. And they're like, Jesus. I'm like, yeah, but it's so big. That's like
Yeah.
saying, have you been to Europe? And I'm like, yeah, I've been to Europe, but I went to Spain and France and Romania. You're like, yeah, well, there's 40 other countries. So I
Yeah,
can't wait to
man.
go back to America and travel around and see all the places. Like,
I mean,
it's such a rich, diverse place.
I've lived here all my life. I've barely been out of California, man. Like I've been to
Dude,
I've been through Oregon, I've been in Washington, I've been to Albuquerque, and even then I've never even been anywhere in the Midwest or on the East Coast. Like this place is fucking ridiculously large. It takes
it's
forever.
insane. Well, yeah, and my brother is doing in university out in Santa Barbara, so I'm fully
yeah.
like I got roots out there, like I got family out there outside of him. Like my dad is American, so like I fully definitely one day I'll be checking out there again.
Hell yeah.
But as well as all the other places, Southeast Asia, like I want to go to fucking Russia, China, Africa, like maybe Antarctica one day when I'm old and I want to get one of those big ass jackets.
That'd
But
be
like,
amazing.
yeah, I'm so itchy. Like I'm just glad I got some traveling done before this. Like that's the only reason I haven't gone totally insane. But yeah, as soon as I can go again, I absolutely will go again.
Fuck yeah. I hope you can soon, and I hope fucking safe travels when you do. And yeah, I would absolutely love a fucking an on the road Irish Rasta show. That'd be fucking fantastic. How whatever that would entail. And yeah, man, fucking once again, just fucking definitely appreciate you for fucking coming on. Much love to you. Fucking hope you're being safe out there, and yeah, I'll be tuning in, and I'll be always encouraging my folks to do the same.
Perfect, man. Oh well, yeah. So new show is out tomorrow. I'll shoot you a preview that I got made as well for that. So
Hell
we
yeah.
got all new shit coming out every week on Sundays. You can find the new show, guys. So yeah, shout out to everyone. Shout out to everyone who's a part of that community. Shout out to you, man. And I hope everybody's doing well and stay positive, stay productive, all that good shit.
Gee, fucking
Amen.
thank you, sir.
All right, man. I'll catch you in the next one.
Yeah, I'll see you down the road.
All right, peace, man.
And that was the Irish motherfucking Rasta, folks. Yeah, that's hilarious. I kind of didn't really never really knew that it was Dirtbag Dan. It was the Dirtbag Dan show that even gave the Irish Rasta moniker. So that's you learn something new every day. And yeah, I think that was there's a lot of insightful fucking shit in there. If I do say so myself, I definitely came through with a newfound perspective, not just for the boy, but for a lot of things that I do. And that's why I love doing this show and having these conversations with people, man. And if you are still tuned in, thank you very much for watching right now. This was definitely, I fucked up and didn't really properly promote this. It was a kind of a bonus episode of sorts. I usually go live Mondays and Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, but I might consider doing a couple more interviews in the middle of a Saturday like this, because I see that some of you guys, the East Coast folks are tuning in right now. So I might consider something. Also, we got, I just fucking dropped Gray Fox versus fucking Chewy on the Counterproductive YouTube channel. Check that shit out right after this if you haven't yet. It's fucking glorious. Filmed beautifully, just to toot my own horn. There is some moments, I know how I can improve for next time, and I will. But I'm very happy with how it turned out. They both did their fucking job. Gonna be releasing battles once every Friday. From if you want to watch all of Bots 12, yeah, I'm releasing all of the battles from Bots 12 once every Friday. So Chewy versus Gray Fox just were dropped. Next week, I believe it's going to be Luxury Fee versus Daniel Blackton, and then so on and so forth. I can't remember them all off the top of my head right now. Apologies. But they're going to be releasing, and then what is it? Not next week, but the week after. 2 weeks from now, we got a card coming up. Let me put that up on the screen really quickly. CJ Pimp versus Luxury Fee. Tino versus Nexus. Nefozar versus Casa De Niro. Sasquatch Josh versus Didi. B Nasty versus Vindog. L Dog versus Jiggles. CJ Pimp versus Daniel Blackton. And Rashad versus Wisecrack. Yeah, man, we're doing that in 2 weeks. All of those battles are going to be up on the Counterproductive Patreon as well as all of the Bots 12 battles. If you want to run those before they drop on, if you liked what you saw with Chewy versus Gray Fox and you want to still see all the rest of the Bots 12 battles, but you haven't yet, run them bitches up. But yeah, no, we've been definitely trying with Aries for a minute. Fuck off. We definitely got some fucking plans in the works. He's someone I'm always trying to figure into my fucking shits. The COVID a lot of things within the last year, but as things are getting, restrictions are lifting and things like that are getting better with the vaccines and all that, and we're able to gather easier without it being sketch. Fucking, I'm definitely open, way more open to have a lot more of the out of town folks coming through. And we got a whole lot of fucking plans. And the boys definitely be trying. It's not from any fault of Aries that he hasn't been back out here yet. And, I definitely wanted to build up the scene a little bit better before I started bringing the out of state folks back in. And I think we're at a better place right now to be able to do that. So fucking, yeah, we got a lot of stuff in the works. Head on over to patreon.com/counterproductive. Run all that stuff. There's going to be a whole lot more coming soon. I have been doing my own personal podcast on my own Patreon, patreon.com/Ryne Radio. I got 2 podcasts that I'm doing audio only, and they're only releasing on my Patreon for my $2 tiers and up. I got some video content that's going to be coming soon to the $5 tiers. It's been filmed. It's been edited. I just needed to do some more final touches. Well, it's not been edited. It's been filmed. And I know how I want to fucking make the cuts, but I got to really lay it all out more and do things. But I got a bunch of other things on the plate. Just juggling a million things all the time, but it's fine. I get a whole lot of fulfillment from doing my creative outlets, and you gotta if you want to fucking win the rodeo, you gotta ride the bull for more than 7 seconds. You know what I'm saying? So that being said, go check out all the stuff and the things. I'm gonna be starting to, when I do interviews on this show that are I'm not watching anything on anything like that, I'm going to start downloading all the audio from these interviews and then releasing those on my Patreon as part of the Patreon only podcast. So you guys are able to listen to this on the go. I know that's been a request from a few of you. So I'm trying to facilitate that while also making it make sense on my end. And I think the Patreon is the easiest way for me to do that. And I like the way that it's laid all out. So yeah. Appreciate you guys for tuning in today. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, whatever you're up to and doing. I got to go do a whole bunch of shit. So yeah, wash your ass, wash your hands, love yourself, love somebody else. Take care of yourself, guys.
Yeah, put in things when you see us. What's the big idea? Bentley, Benz, or Beamer, we be swinging like we teed up. They don't know shit. Pull up, then we swipe before they re-up. Say they don't know shit. Clock up in their face so they don't see us. Put in things when you see us. What's the big idea? Bentley, Benz, or Beamer, we be swinging like we teed up. They don't know shit. Pull up, then we swipe before they re-up. Say they don't know shit. Clock up in their face so they don't see us. Hey, I'll roll a chopper out the pack, then pull the big out. She think I'm Rambo when I'm shirtless with the stick out. Black on black when we attack, we never stick out. I get to squeeze until it's empty, pop the clip out. You share your business with these bitches, let it slip out. You give your money to that house, so you a trick now. I don't say shit to the bitches, pull my dick out. First we fucked and when I'm finished, I'ma spit. Shit, my dog just barking and got the taste for blood. Pop shit, you get your top split, I left them laying her. 9 true, you get your mind blue, but what you tryna do? Slide through, must I remind you? I be almost sipping a 40, yeah. Gripping a 40, yeah. I'll let one go up at your face and get distorted, yeah. End of the story, yeah. It's not important, we celebrate and spin your block up in that 4, yeah. I got magazines for your issues. Activate with the pistol. I'm at your face like some tissue. If I bless you, I won't miss you. Bullets guided like a missile. Now they gliding through your tissue. Hit your bitch, your friends, your family, anybody riding with you. Little bitch, I walking like I'm God, but I'm a demon to you. Little bitch, I keep the pump on deck, but I ain't cleaning the pool. You feel that barrel bust, you feel that marrow crush. Little bitch, I rock enough gold to make a pharaoh blush. You put them things when you see us, like what's the big idea? Bentley, Benz, or Beamer, we be swinging like we teed up. They don't know shit. Pull up, then we swipe them for they re-up. They don't know shit. Glock up in their face so they don't see us. Put them things when you see us, like what's the big idea? Bentley, Benz, or Beamer, we be swinging like we teed up. They don't know shit. Pull up, then we swipe them for they re-up. They don't know shit. Glock up in their face so they don't see us.